Let me also welcome Secretary Clinton back to the United States Senate, where she served for 8 years. I very much look forward in this campaign to a serious debate about the very serious crises facing our country. I don't like negative campaigns. I've never run a negative ad in my life. I believe the American people are entitled to serious discussion about serious issues. Secretary Clinton and I disagree on a number of issues. There are issues where we come from the same place. Some of the areas that we disagree are on trade. I happen to believe that the trade agreements that have been passed here over the last 3 decades, NAFTA, CAFTA, the Chinese trade agreement, TPP, have been disastrous for American workers and have led to the loss of millions of jobs. Secretary Clinton, I believe, has a different view on that issue. I strongly oppose the war in Iraq, and if you go to the remarks that I made when I was a member of the House, sadly, tragically, much of what I predicted, in fact, took place. I voted against the so-called USA Patriot Act because I feared very much that while we have to be vigorous in protecting this country against terrorism, we could do it without undermining the constitutional rights or the privacy rights of the American people. I happen to agree very strongly with Pope Francis that climate change is the great planetary crisis, environmental crisis that we face. I have helped lead the opposition against the Keystone Pipeline. I don't believe we should be excavating or transporting some of the dirtiest fuel on this planet. I think Secretary Clinton has not been clear on her views on that issue. When I was a member of the House, I helped lead the effort in opposition to the deregulation of Wall Street. I happen to believe that Wall Street has far too much power, much too much concentration of ownership and wealth there. I believe that we should break up the major financial institutions and certainly go forward with restoring Glass-Steagall financial regulations. To the best of my knowledge, that those are ideas that Secretary Clinton does not agree with. I have been very specific in saying that when we have millions of people in this country who are working for disastrously low wages, that the $7.25 an hour minimum wage here is a starvation wage. We need to raise the minimum wage to $15 an hour. We need to invest $1 trillion in rebuilding our infrastructure, creating up to 13 million jobs. Those are very specific ideas that I have. I think the Secretary has not been quite so clear on those issues. Lastly, I believe that if we're going to rebuild the American middle class, we need to make public colleges and universities tuition free and pay for it through a transaction tax on Wall Street speculators. The Secretary's position, I think, is unclear on that.
Senator Sanders,
yes, ma'am.
How did it go today in your session to get with Secretary Clinton? Did you speak with each other?
We said hello. I've known the Secretary for 25 years. I knew her as First Lady. Obviously, I knew her when we were together here in the Senate. I like her. I respect her. And I hope that we can run a campaign where we can express the differences of opinion that we have and do it in a way that is straightforward. It is not necessary, I think, for people to dislike each other or to attack each other just because they're running for office. And maybe one more question. Yes, sir.
Don't the Senate ethics rules say you shouldn't campaign for presidential office?
I'm not campaigning here. I'm talking. You're asking me questions about it.
Thanks, everybody.
Okay. Thank you all.